system can help the Indian cotton industry in a shorter period, and the entire team of CITI CDRA is extremely optimistic about the same. CITI CDRA has a good response from the and operational in many other cotton growing states across the country as well, and will actively work towards improving the economic status of the farmer, who are the weakest link in the cotton value chain. Looking at the need of building the image of Indian cotton at a global level, the government launched an Indian cotton brand known as Kasturi Cotton, and also formed an action group for the same. It is a part of this action group and is constantly updating the branding and certification process. It is a matter of pride for CITI that, inspired by the honorable Textile, Shri Piyush Goyalji, CITI, in association with the Cotton Association of India, has recently launched a One Nation CITI CI model cotton contract. This model contract has been designed keeping in mind the interest of all the stockholders of the cotton value chain, and it will also play a key role in minimizing trade-related disputes. As reported by the industry member, a lot of price speculation was taking place through MCX, which proved to be a hurdle for the Indian cotton industry, and the entire industry was looking for preventive measures to control the same. CITI took this initiative, and as a result, MCX reconstituted the Product Advisory Committee, which is now being led by the CITI chairman, Shri Raj. Based on the industry consultation, most of the contract specifications have been modified to curb the price speculation. Friends, in the times to come, merely increasing cotton productivity is not going to help much. Owing to the increased uses of water and fertilizers in cotton production, concepts of sustainability and circularity are now gaining central stage, and countries like EU are coming up with legislation towards the same. Northern India Textiles Mills Association, NITMA, its inspection in year 1958 has been constantly working towards promoting the industry interest in Indian NITMA, the representative of Northern India Textile Mill, has been contributing towards the policy and advocacy of CITI, and is committed to provide full plus support, not just to CITI but to every organization which is working towards uplifting the Indian textile and apparel industry. I would like to conclude by saying that we must capitalize on our abundant resources and leverage the and I'm extremely sure that with the collective and all the stakeholders, India will not only become Atmanirbhar in the every sphere of cotton, but will also emerge as a leading supplier of good quality cotton in the years to come. The theme of today's Global Cotton Conference, game-changing technologies and trades for achieving high yields and fine quality in cotton, has been selected by keeping in mind the future scenario of the Indian cotton sector, and I'm extremely hopeful that all the sessions of today's programs will be extremely beneficial for the entire cotton fraternity. On behalf of CITI, I once again thanks all the participants who have joined this conference virtually and physically, and I'm extremely sure that with the support of all of you, this event would be a grand success. Thank you all.
471.
Thank you, sir. I think no discussion on cotton is complete without Mr. Suresh Kotak's feedback on that. He is joining us virtually. Can we confirm? Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, may I welcome you and request you to make your presentation?
Yes, thank you.
20 नंबर का भाव होना चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से 280 के आसपास होना चाहिए मेरे ख्याल से।
संजय जी
65 से 70 75 80 जो भी बिक जाए इंक्लूडिंग जीएसटी।
Shall I start? संजय जी हाँ सर तुम स्टार्ट किया। हाँ राकेश Shah and other friends, Madam Roop Rashi ji, Ashwin Chandran, other friends and dignitaries. I will first speak about the conference itself. on behalf of TAG. TAG is Textile Advisory Group, which I represent. TAG very heartily appreciates focused and relevant theme of the conference. Thanks also to CITI for inviting me to present views on India's cotton current and future trends. At the outset, I thank Honorable Textile Minister for propelling inspiration and ethos to vitalize, create capabilities in textile value chain, which has been brought into a self-auto mode of action. An adulation to Honorable Minister for tasking Textile Advisory Group, the TAG, to act as coordinator, synergizer, and connectivizer to the textile value chain. Commendably, friends, the Textile Ministry, the Textile Commissioner's Office, and Cotton Corporation of India are so helpful, supportive, and facilitating the textile value chain empowerment in due cooperation with TED. Thank you, all the three, and all the people who are helping TED. Especially the government is very supportive, I find. The theme, game-changing technologies and trades for achieving high yields and fine quality of cotton, is directionally purposed to recognize and harness the game-changing technologies. In pursuance, CITI has mobilized various experts today to deliberate this subject, finally aiming at higher yields and fine quality of cotton. My allocated subject, Indian cotton's current and future trends, shall endeavor to decipher the trends with a purported aim. Next. Indian cotton current and future trends. Friends, I will start in a little quip in Hindi. हमारा मकसद है सच्चा कपास. Saccha kapas is pure, unadulterated cotton that which also becomes traceable. Swachha kapas. This should be built into our ecosystem. Saksham kapas. The kapas attributes of strength and elongation which is needed in Indian cotton, and other required attributes as and when needed by the textile industry may be provided so that we can compete other countries by the rich material resources that we need to generate. Though we are the highest producer, we need to make this amends. Then the fourth one is Swastha Kapas. The kapas which is compensatory to farmers, affordable to the textile industry, with monitors and containment of price fluctuation in price volatility to help to allow the supply chain for long-term contracts of cotton goods. The cotton goods, ready-made garments, homemade textiles, or are transacted for months together, and wide and volatile fluctuations affects the whole ecosystem of the value chain. This Chatushpadi Mahamantra, because it is four-way, as in rotary there is four-way test, this is a four-way which will be important contributor to achieve such values and impart our nation an ability to become one of the most important suppliers of textiles to the world. Secondly, generate employment through integrated textile value chain with pivotal strength of raw material. The third advantage is strategic raw material protection to the industry. Today, industry needs protection and they should not suffer from disruptions of availability and price. And significant, most important, it has to be compensatory to farmers of India, which with these four principles and Maha Mantra, if we keep it in mind, ultimately to achieve will definitely help us immensely. Next, please. The present technologies relies on the present technology and our ecosystem relies on seeds of hybrid technology, presently dominant with the use of BT3, which has become archaic and has developed resistance affecting the crop. The suggestions mooted are for latest BT technology to avoid the loss due to pest attacks. The recent introduction of non-chemical methods like Foreman traps and Japanese PV knot technology has been working well to avert the loss from pink bollworm attacks. The sowing methods are still not commensurate with our rain mapping. This is a very important point to note. This mismatches and arrests our productivity.
कैमरा तो फीड ले रहा था पोर्ट में दिक्कत है
Are you able to hear? This mismatches.
तो आपका ही लगा सिस्टम से
This mismatches.
पीडी चाह इधर ही पीडी
This mismatches and arrests our productivity at the fruiting stage, requiring nutrition and water. 180 days is too long a period.
ले पीजे मटाओ पीजे मटाओ ना सेफ साइड रखो उसको
The ascribed reason is use of seeds, which has long duration maturity, making crops susceptible to pests and creating famish conditions. Essentially, we need water and nutrition at the time of fruiting. Due to long duration, the fruiting does not get advantage of rainwater. We therefore have to have shorter duration hybrid seeds. However, we need to scrutinize, we need to pick, and we need to choose appropriately the seeds. The difficulty is today the plethora of seed varieties, and it is all confusing picture. Maharashtra is typically sufferer of low productivity, and therefore the average goes down, and Maharashtra becomes an important factor with large area, and therefore our average goes down. Next, that is, our present seeds have a limitation of yield. This needs to be tackled. Actually, our old seed systems, seed production availability, certification, transparency, and all the facets and all the aspects needs to be revamped. If we properly deploy our present seed bank, then also we should be able to achieve 1,000 to 1,100 average per hectare, as has been demonstrated by CITI CDRA, who have achieved about 1,000 up to 1,000. CIMA CDRA let me put on record, has done excellent work in seed technology and their pioneering work in creating most recognized and most awarded global extra length staple cotton. Suvin is a classic example. And what a proper first class matter has come up due to CITI's efforts. Recently, friends, even when present hybrid seed, the scientists have been experimenting with high density planting. Even with the present hybrid seeds, the scientists have been experimenting with the high density planting and results are very encouraging. Drip irrigation with nutrition management combined cold fertigation has proved that it can multiply the production average in Maharashtra 3 times. From 3 to it can come up to 9. 3 per hectare to 9 per hectare. It is obtainable. It has been proved. So irrigation plays an important part, and that drip irrigation experiments in Maharashtra, wherever they are done, it has given good results. We are happy that now importance of canopy management is realized and plants are being trimmed to stem the vegetative growth, which is the characteristic of hybrid. And now with the canopy management, the strength can be converted or diverted into reproductive growth and the yield will improve. And scientists have become quite aware about this fact, and presently this trend is on. Next, please. Next, please. In the post-harvest, more awareness has been felt now, and the process of improvement of ginning has been holding attention of everybody. In this area, remarkable work, I repeat, remarkable work has been done in ginning and pressing by Cotton Corporation of India. Also, our present textile commissioner, Madam Roop Rashi is also very enthusiastic and keeps promoting promoting the better processing of cotton at all COCPC meetings insistently, and for trying her best to persuade the whole system to adopt better ginning, which will definitely remove contamination, adulteration, a number of lacunas can be removed. I compliment Mr. Pradeep Ji Agarwal, CMD CCI, to take a good lead in adoption of digitalization. The digitalization has created a transparency in the system of ginning and pressing. The creation of Kasturi by Cotton Corporation with help of Textile Committee is also a good omen and a good beginning for branding. A good standard and brand making, as well as creating awareness about necessity of good processing with all the aspects of cotton are getting duly realized more and more. The awareness has started coming this trend is definitely decipherable. Having full cover and marking on the packed bales by CCI is a welcome step, adoptable, very adoptable, and this feature needs to be adopted by all the ginning and practice factories, and it must be encouraged and imposed to follow the suit. Next. Now, what are the future trends? We have given a bird's overview of the past trends, the future trends in cottons and cotton's applicability in different uses needs to be examined. Apart from game change in technology, cotton is moving more and more towards green cotton methods enthusiastically, futuristically and enthusiastically, as the market needs green cotton. The changes are environment-friendly cotton with least use of chemical and fertilizers, also moving towards traceability and circularity in cotton. The game-changing technology is large-scale adoption of high-density planting to the extent of 1 lakh plants per acre, which we shall also witness dwarf plants with new types of seedling of short duration. These dwarf plants are with more balls, and because the reproductive capacity is generated in dwarf plants, in hybrid, the vegetative growth is very good, but it reduces the reproductive growth. In the dwarf plant seeds, which is necessary in high density planting, they capture the reproductive growth. So we will need new type of seedling of short duration, which is there in the high in the countries who have adopted high density planting. Some experiments have started been doing, but still a lot of things are awaiting. Mechanization and commissioning of various farmer friendly equipments for precision sowing. I repeat, precision sowing is equally important, is being worked upon by various institutions, especially the Agricultural Institute of Bhopal of our government is very active in developing many new equipments. I compliment Agriculture Ministry for trying to find out suitable kind of equipment for our changing farming scenario, because this also takes time and we need a different kind of equipments than America or other countries. Short duration, appropriate new seeds is coming into offing, and it will take about 2 years to be in full swing. Mechanical harvesters have started finding its way in our future harvesting methods. Change in irrigation methods, more towards drip irrigation methods in rain-fed areas are realized by state agricultural ministries, and the locations are being spotted out for this kind of development. Use of geosciences are a futuristic point, but it will take shape, it is taking shape, that is genomics, for precision farming as well as obtaining required fiber properties will be intensified. So the cotton has such a bright future that we will have much revolutionary cottons by technology leaps. New traceability. The traceability system and modalities are being worked by TEXPROCIL, and considerable work has been done. The circularity of cotton, rather more here, is the kind of use of residue of cotton. A commendable work for residues of cotton has been done by CIRCOT. The circularity of cotton includes reuse, reduction, and all the three aspects, 3 R's, which is called, and this that is also redeploying certain materials such as cotton waste, etc., can be redeployed, reused for spinning, etc. But the kind of work that CIRCOT has done is the utilizing of residues in a most novel and most innovative fashion. They have about 50 patented 50 patented innovative products which still has to find commercial market. The linter on the seats are rich alpha cellulosic and can be put to number of uses, include nanocellulosic. Here, India has a good amount of technology, perhaps one of the best or the best in the world, and this nanocellulosic opens floodgate of uses. I would recommend everybody to see nanocellulosic plant operating at Sarkot. Secondly, top cover of the seats are substitutes of guar gum and is used for mineral oil extraction as a good substitute and has proved successful, and some exports are already taking place. Cotton use with various other natural and man-made fibers are getting intensified, and applied research of cotton will get accelerated and new openings will be made. Further, a very good news is which we should carry further, that gossipal issue has been solved by Texas University of Lubbock, and it has been tackled. The use of gossipal is of as medicinal value has got into the research tacklement. Next, please. Cotton stocks. The cotton stocks today, it is creating pollution. We know why Delhi is polluted, because the residues of agriculture are being burned and they are producing pollution. But we have to realize the cotton stocks are highly, very much usable. It has been researched that its applicability is vast. It can be converted into fuel that can produce electricity. It can be used as substitute of wood. It can be used for paneling, as exemplified in the walls of Sarkot. Please see that wall. It is really very remarkable and very useful kind of wall. It can be highly used technically as acoustics for monitoring sound. Cotton and its applicability, its versatility is under high research by various organizations nationally and internationally. The greatest demand today, friends, is of organic cotton, and number of initiatives are being taken for having ethical organic cotton which are duly certified, and this has great potentiality for India. Roop Rashi has been taking meetings after meeting to find out how ethical organic cotton can be produced with a well recognition, well certification in India. So I feel the efforts will be successful and India will be one of the best ethical organic cotton producing nation. Next. Friends, I am now concluding this overview that cotton is being researched continuously and its potentiality is being unfolded. The game changing is not only related to merely productivity enhancement and fine quality, but cotton now relates itself now with environment, traceability, and circularity, and the total economics management of residue. Cotton is highly versatile fiber, and the genomics, the science of genomics can further add to this environment-friendly and most usable fiber. These are the portents of future trends. It is not only technologically trend changing, but cultural trendy change also, and new system traits are taking place. I offer my highest compliments to Indian scientists whom I call priests of India, who needs total support and encouragement from all the sectors of industry, and even increased governmental support would make our country best in productivity, quality, with high innovations and full cotton economics, which will prove to be numero uno for our country as a cotton nation on the highest pedal. Friends, today's action and unification on all aspects of cotton, pivotal being productivity and quality, will set our country's textile destiny to the highest level. Jai Hind. Thank you very much. Terry, Kasturi is a dia which is a fragrance.
producing companies of our country. And I also represent a textile company. In our group, we have NSL Textiles, where we also consume about 300,000 bales every year. So therefore, I understand the issues of both sides, the steel-related aspects, the farmer-related aspects, and the industry aspects. The improvement of the production through high-density planting has been established even in 2013 when FICCI and our company collaborated and established this in Maharashtra. Last 3 years, we have been doing experiments. This year, we have taken up about 7,000 acres in Telangana state in collaboration with the state government there. And we have done many experiments in Maharashtra along with CICR. The director, Dr. Prasad, also is sitting here among the audience. And all these experiments in Andhra Pradesh, all these experiments have proved that 1,000 kg of crop per hectare is very much achievable, provided the farmers move towards the high density planting. Can you show the slide, please? The interesting thing is, while it improves the yield, it also gives a solution towards sustainability. How do we make the cotton production more sustainable with lower carbon footprint in the field itself? So that aspect also can be taken care by the high density planting. And this also takes care of better fiber quality. The reason being, under high density planting system, we also recommend the farmers to use for growth regulating hormones, which divert the excessive vegetative growth towards the reproductive growth. As a result, the fiber maturity improves, the fiber strength also improves, and the quality as a result will be much better compared to the current way of growing cotton. Unorganized growth of cotton. Takes away the vegetative growth. Pushing it into the towards fiber maturity. So the also will facilitate the fiber quality improvement. Another big headache the industry is facing is the contamination, the polycontamination. The biggest answer, of course, temporarily, this colored fertilizer bags may help, but this is not the ultimate solution. The ultimate solution is mechanized picking, mechanized harvesting of cotton. Thereby, we even eliminate the chance of contamination itself. If you use colored bags, you are still contaminating, but you are able to pick it up. But if you don't contaminate, it's a better solution. So that will happen in the high density planting, because in today's system, where the plant grows to about 5 to 6 feet height, the machines can't enter the field. The machines have a limitation that they can only pick the cotton if the crop height is around 4 feet or maybe 4.5 feet max. Beyond that, the machine design itself doesn't permit it to work in the fields. The spacing of the rows also plays a big role in the machine. Even that can also happen again through high density planting and mechanized planting. Therefore, this is the biggest theme which we have to understand. Like 80% of the work will be done by high density planting. The balance 20% can happen through the rest of the efforts, the breeding efforts, new plant types. New plant types are very important for high density planting. The existing plant types are of long duration. So we have to move towards 140 days maturity, 145 days maturity, with a very synchronous ball bearing habit. That means the plant has to flower in a shorter time. Today, the plant flower over a long period of time. When they flower for a long period of time, all the balls will not open at the same time. So as a result, the picking of cotton now happens over a period of 4 or 5 times in our country. Whereas outside of India, the entire cotton is picked in one go. So when we are picking cotton in multiple times, there is no uniformity of quality. The first picking, second picking gives the best quality. The third, fourth pickings give the poor quality. The maturity of the fiber is very low. The micronair also becomes very fine, and the strength is, as a result, is very poor. So all these changes happen. If you are able to make a synchronous flowering with a regulated growth of the plant, which is what we do in high density planting. So the fiber matures at the same time, the balls mature at the same time, the fiber is more uniform. So these things also can happen. So 80% of our efforts, all of our efforts, have to be in this direction. And of course, the rest of the contribution will come from better varieties, the new trades, new plant production technologies, even the mating disruption technology for controlling of pink bollworm. So some of the companies already brought this technology that needs to be propagated. So these things again will contribute substantially. So can you show this slide, please? Next slide. So these points, whatever I mentioned here, are listed out here. High GOT in India, typically the lint percentage of cotton is only about 34-35%. And some of the areas like Andhra Pradesh, it is even lower than that because of the climatic reasons. It's even 33% in Andhra Pradesh. Whereas globally, it is around 40%. So we are losing about 100 kg of lint per hectare only because of one trait, the low GOT. So if we work towards high GOT and reach the global level of 40%, our yield automatically from 500 kg becomes 600 kg. But unfortunately, our industry, our ginners, some of the ginners are sitting here, we don't pay based on the lint percentage in cotton. We simply pay for a kilogram of cotton. The moment we start paying the farmer on the basis of the lint, then farmers will adopt the high GOT varieties. Today, industry offering high GOT varieties also, but the farmers are not growing high GOT varieties because they get the same price. Whether he supplies a variety with 40% GOT or 34% GOT, he gets the same price. When there is no incentive, he only looks for yield. A variety which actually gives lower yield in terms of kapas may be giving higher yield in terms of lint. We grow cotton more for lint and less for seed. So this principle also, I think, needs to come in so that high GOT varieties get encouraged and the industry can breed them and supply to the farmers. Similarly, when we target for high GOT, we may not get 32 millimeters staple length. There are adverse correlations between high GOT versus length. But industry typically looks for 30 millimeter. A small percentage of 20% may require 31, 32 millimeter. So again, if we move towards contract farming, an industry grows the cotton through a contractual arrangements along with a ginner in a known area. So these things can happen. Depending on our requirement, we can go to an area and ask the farmers to grow a high GOT variety with 30 millimeter or a lower GOT with 32 millimeter. So these things can happen only in a contract farming systems in case we adopt. So that practice also I think should come in our country, which will lead towards a very good collaborative efforts between the farmers, industry, and the seed company, the breeders, that is seed companies. So together, we can tailor-made the outcome, what outcome we require. Outcome needs to be defined before the starting of the work. Like we make a plan for a building, then only we start the construction. Today it's happening in a very random way. There is no plan. Things happen in a random way, though outcome also is going out of control. So these are the thoughts, what I thought I will share here. Can you go to the next slide, please? Can you change the next slide? एक और slide था ना उसका पहले. I think you have put the wrong presentation. Anyway, to sum up and conclude my talk, the improving of the production and productivity is very much possible. The industry can get cotton without contamination, and industry can get the cotton with desired fiber properties by encouraging high density planting, which of course we are doing, by also moving towards contract farming systems with the farmers. And the industry can also take advantage of the government's announcement, recent announcement by the joint meeting held by between the Textile Minister and the Agriculture Minister about 10,000 rupees grant to the farmer per every hectare where they go for high density planting. My suggestion is that as an industry, let us adopt certain villages, go for a contract farming, and go to the Agriculture Ministry and propose to them to make the transfer of this 10,000 rupees per hectare to the farmers under the DBT system, wherever there is an industry sponsored contract farming that is happening. So these are my views, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I thank CITI CDRA for this. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for some very pointed suggestions made towards increasing the productivity. Now may I call upon our guest of honor, Ms. Roop Rashi, the Textile Commissioner, Government of India, who has been on the helm of a lot of activities that have been happening for improving cotton productivity and its valuation. Welcome, ma'am.
I'll then speak here. Good morning, everybody. I want to thank Chandrama to have intimated me that I have to join in the morning. Of course, because one must tell you, yesterday, Australian government has also, Parliament has passed our FTA, and we look forward to much better returns in terms of the markets for our whole textile value chain and definitely for cotton value chain. And I'm sure that we had too many activities in the textile segment that then all the senior dignitaries on the dais. I don't think that there is much to add, though I just wanted to flag few things again and again. First of all, I think the major breakthrough one had this year was kind of synergy one is seeing with Ministry of Agriculture. And this why I'm saying I've been here for about 2 years plus. Earlier, we used to have a cotton advisory board. I was told that time there was much more proactive participation. For whatever reason, things went into kind of disuse. And then we had a changeover to cotton production and consumption, which is again a joint kind of effort between two ministries, as well as the industry and the major associations from trading as well as CITI. But somehow, it really hasn't been able to take off all the issues for everybody. So I would thank our Honorable Minister, sir, that in May we looked at Textile Advisory Group. Last year saw a lot of volatility across the value chain, and that resulted in this kind of convergence of all who are relevant to the textile value chain and especially cotton textile value chain. Now, I just wanted to put few other perspectives to whatever has been, any case, agreed to. And I'm sure we are looking forward. The generic ones being that we need to increase productivity as well as quality. So these two, which we kind of look up to industry to help from the farm up to the final end and maybe recycle back to farm. Now, cotton for us in India, we are predominant. And in terms of even domestic market, though there are other fibers also growing, which is also good. I would not like to say that we need to be unnecessarily competitive, but cotton still retains predominant position with about 57 to 58% of use per capita as on today also. Now, that being the case, if we look at what would be the demand size, it's for all of you to calculate. If we just take an average rate of population increase by 1%. So one knows that there is a strong demand pull, demand support in this whole value chain. Now, yet we all know cotton is under stress. And one which we felt last year, which really made all our estimates go haywire, is linked to weather. I think all agriculture crops today are under stress, but cotton specifically. Increase in population gives me more hope for the value chain in terms of a strengthening of demand, but also gives me concern in terms of competition on the ground, in terms of acreage. So we have no option but to increase productivity. I think all of us have agreed, but I want to keep on reiterating it. And I want to see that today, frankly speaking, as governance, we are only on the facilitator side. Our industry, our producers at the ground level, then our industry engineers to the industry, as well as our research institutions, all of us have agreed on this, I think for a long time, not today, that we need to increase productivity. So now my third obviously is the challenge vis-a-vis other fibers. And although I personally consider that we have too big a pie and we need not be unnecessarily too much concerned, we should actually strengthen our cotton, which is India's strength, and we give ourselves wholeheartedly to this whole requirement on the cotton side. Now, all of us, and this is, I would say, my third or fourth or fifth meeting when we talk about, we agree on HTPS. Our whole city CTRA program, which we have agreed, also revolves around that. My request would be that today we met in April also, I think we deliberated on the same issue, and we came down to that we need to do something about the way we are doing the farming, looking at the planting design at the plant level. So could we look at some of the internal targets amongst ourselves? And when we meet next April, say, yes, we all agreed on this principle and we have been able to reach here. Now people will say, okay, this requires budget approval from government. I think 143 crore budget one is looking at. Ministry of Agriculture is also looking at that. Let us see how it transpires. But since it's something like I don't have an option but to increase productivity, we will have to get into innovative mechanism, how to ensure that if this is the way forward agreed by all the experts on this side, on the other side, do we actually start now saying, no, we decide this much, and by next meeting when we meet, maybe what I'm trying to draw from Prabhakar ji is looking at an outcome oriented approach. If for 10 years they have already given the formula, they have already worked on it, or anybody else who has worked on it, what prevents us from, or what is coming in the way to ensure that we are able to see some increase by, within this season, if not this season, at least the next season, so that we are much, much more assured. Because unfortunately, what I see in last 2 years, our sentiments are governed by each year's crop. Maybe, it's a big value chain, obviously, everybody unto himself. But for everybody else also, if we don't think, we will be in much, much more trouble in a couple of years from now. So my request is that this gathering should get into what we are targeting, what are the specific approaches we take. We have, I'm sure, a lot of multilateral institutions also helping us, specific quality assurance institutions who are helping us. How do we get to these two goals of productivity, quality, and say I was X here, and whatever I achieve by next meet, maybe April or something, let us try to get into little more specifics on that. And herein I say that the work being done by collective effort at the farmer end assumes a lot of importance. It is not enough that all of us agree on the approach here. It is more important that the message is actually not just through my advisories thrown there, is actually translated into action on ground. I hope I am not, normally all of us believe in, when we were doing the first action taken note, that time I was doing the secretariat work for in the textile advisory group. I remember Minister Sir said, I don't want advisories, I want action. When I say you should do this for taking care of pink bollworm, I also need much, much more closer supervision by the ones who know better to the farm level. How do they actually adopt it? So that link, I'm sure good extension work is being done. CCI has also offered its own manpower. Ministry of Agriculture has now shifted its focus. Why I'm saying has now, because I'm trying to re-quote what Minister Sir said himself, our Minister Tomar Sir, that cotton was initially not their focus. Obviously, they have much bigger things to handle. And maybe they thought that since it's an industrial commodity and it will any case be taken care of by the industry. So somewhere it was, it didn't achieve that priority before, I would say, say the key date of 24th July, a Sunday, when all of us were here in Vigyan Bhavan to deliberate on the key issues impinging on the whole value chain. Now, my request is all of us should, for ourselves, also devise plans, set targets, and next time when we meet, I would like to listen if we could, instead of just repeating that, yes, I need this, I need this, I need this, let us say what all we have done in last 6 months to reach there. Amazing work. I get to know a lot of things because we have created a WhatsApp group in which I get updates from Mr. Rao, our Dr. Prasad, and all that, whatever work is being done, but we need to really, really take it down to the last mile and get the delivery. Now, second is obviously what Sir said in very good words in Hindi, Swachh, Swasth, Saksham Kapas. No doubt all of us have to work on sustainability, circularity, recycling. Now, another thing which I want to say that we need to innovate a lot in terms of the products, because instead of competing with other fibers, we should see how we can create a usable product which is earning enough value and we can transfer the value down back to the producer. Like, I'll just give a very simple example. During COVID also, one of our textile research associations had developed a very good face mask, which had all the filtration which is required through, the non-woven material, as well as had a covering to give 97% production. So my thing is that it is not difficult that if we can look for international contribution or even national contribution between different institutions to design and develop for this earth, not just, and let it not be a, war of A fiber vis-a-vis B or C. We can always innovate so that all at different points particularly in cotton, when we look at farm, they get the return for what they do on the farm. Some of the problems which have been cited earlier to strengthen the quality, we have taken, I think all of us are taking a lot of actions, and we are trying to engage state governments also. I would like to tell you that on this statistics thing, three-pronged approach we looked at. One was reaching out to all of them, because I realized that despite lot of demand from everybody, lot of ginners, despite they knowing also that everybody needs to, ginning being the most important quality point in the value chain, we are not getting data. And okay, we issue the panel provision. Okay, that will also help to some extent. But we have kept a target about, this, I think 26, 27, 28, our teams are in Maharashtra, and they are doing on ground, thankfully with the support of the associations, one, awareness to enrollment on a portal which was developed with the industry. So if anybody has any issue in terms of portal being very difficult, please come back. We are willing to review. It should be an ease to just report the data. Two, we are engaging. I met the Chief Commissioner GST to get much more assured data on cotton as a crop, by strengthening whatever we are doing in our COCPC, by getting the validating data from GST in terms of the movement of the commodity. We have engaged on the market side. We are thankful. I think we have our friends from MCX also in part of some of the deliberation. I would like to especially thank SEBI, the member SEBI, Mr. Mohanty, to bring everybody on board. And honestly, despite being a bureaucrat, cutting the red tape short, we would have had to go through Ministry of Finance, etc., etc., etc. But he said, okay, if the value chain is having a problem, we will listen to everybody together across the board, whatever are their concern about the contract, and ensure that it is more transparent, it's more broad-based, and hope that it gets the depth also, so that due price discovery is possible, is helpful, and is helpful to the whole of the value chain. I expect that with a lot of consultations, and they have broad-based the product advisory committee, we would reach a point wherein the concerns which come out of any trade instrument, do not, make it very weak at any point, because we need to be very strong in cotton. Now, I was also reading up that when we look at branding, we have something called cradle to cradle certified production. And I was very, very happy to see that today's cotton made in Africa can say that 2 of the major sustainability indicators, they are certified. So, and that means they are taking care of sustainability, they are taking care of product circularity, they are taking care of water and soil stewardship, social fairness, etc., which are all going to be very, very demanding compulsions across any product, particularly which is agriculture product, particularly which uses water. So why can't we? My question always comes that we are big. Does it become a weakness? But if Africa can do it, why can't we? I have a very simple example. I met somebody in India, our health ministry doing amazing work in some of the segments. This is with regards to TB. And I was told that when our leading countries, including an initiative under WHO, they saw what work we are doing. They are willing to take a lot of inputs from us. So we just need to, I mean to say that we don't need to conform to anything which is coming from outside. We are ourselves 1/5 in another, I think 2047, 20% of Indian population would be the talent pool for the rest of the world. We are the biggest market also. So we need to develop that kind of cohesion amongst ourselves to be able to give solutions to others, do our own kind of rigorous effort to ensure that all these concerns, if cotton, cotton made in Africa can get it, then I'm sure cotton in India also. We just need to bring together all our effort, and maybe we can make others look up to us also. So I would just say the fertilizer order says One Bharat, Shresth Bharat. In that sense, one value chain from cotton value chain from Bharat, we should be the most important value chain in terms of not only the production, quality, synergy among all of us who are present here. And I'm sure government at this point of time is willing to support any action which lends itself to giving the delivery. So we need to work together on this, and I look forward to better inputs. Only thing is, let us not have the same discussion again and again. Let us discuss what are the outcomes of what we have been doing in the field and deliberate on them and get your opinion on how to do it better. Maybe I always like to take back 3 action points and come back to say on 3 we could do 2 successfully, 1 so much, or maybe we did 1 additional because when I went into the field, I got another 1. So this is the kind of way I would look at it. And I'm sure the government is there to support not only through our ministry, any ministry. So from our side, the mantra is synergy. Anything you tell, we need to kind of look at how to make it happen. And we don't have too much time. That is my only concern. Let us not wait and let us just keep doing. There are processes. I was telling somebody who is looking into the budget, I said, next budget, if we are looking of only that amount of money which we have projected and we don't start our action simultaneously, then we will lose 1 full season. So let us not get into that. Let us start our work on the ground and pull in whatever our resources between us, state government, agencies, industry, and take cotton to its highest point. Thank you. I would just like to reiterate what Sir said about cotton being a holistic product. I do believe that if we don't make it like that, in terms of utilizing everything around cotton and make it more sustainable, we would have much more stress in coming years. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Synergy it has been. In fact, these kind of platforms are to encourage such synergies. While we have heard a lot of industry and policy perspective on cotton development, I think it's time we also look at what's happening on ground. And for that, we have our cotton development arm, the CITI. May I request Mr. Prashant Mahata, Member CITI Standing Committee on Cotton, and the Managing Director of Gematex to come here. Before his presentation, we'll play a short video of what's happening on ground under the CITI CDRA collaborative programs in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan. Some of these videos have been received yesterday only, so it's more of a live action as what's happening on ground on HTPS. May I request the IT team to please play the video?
Ashwin.
Established as the Indian Cotton Mills Federation, ICMF, in 1958, it got transformed into Confederation of Indian Textile Industry, CITI, in 2005, to assume the leadership of broad-based textile and clothing value chain.
Ashwin.
Being the major stakeholder of cotton, its
Recording
cotton production, productivity, and quality cotton in the country can be traced back to 1964. The Cotton Committee was formed to spearhead the Grow More Cotton campaign carried out by the government to augment the domestic supply of cotton, setting up a Cotton Development and Research Association, CITI, CDRA in 1970, was to provide an institutional framework for research, evolving newer varieties of cotton and promote scientific cultivation. Now, CITI CDRA works shoulder to shoulder with the government and other organizations to not only increase cotton yield by introducing the various hybrid, but also enhance the purity and quality of cotton. The initial stages, CITI CDRA works, which covered almost all cotton growing areas in the country, now have intense activities in 3 states, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Maharashtra. These proactive steps have helped in increasing yield several folds higher than the non-project areas.
मैं डॉक्टर आर.एस. त्रिपाठी प्रोजेक्ट कोऑर्डिनेटर के रूप में कार्य कर रहा हूँ इस परियोजना में, और 4 जिलों में जो ये परियोजना चल रही है उनका सबका कोऑर्डिनेशन एग्रीकल्चर डिपार्टमेंट के साथ में करवा के इसका किया जाए, संचालित किया।
मैं आरबीएस तोमर, परियोजना अधिकारी, झाबुआ अलीराजपुर। ये CITI का जो प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा है, हम इसमें 5 सालों से काम कर रहे हैं।
मैं राकेश पाटीदार, प्रोजेक्ट ऑफिसर, रतलाम धार संस्था में काम कर रहा हूँ, और इसके अंतर्गत हमारा रतलाम धार मिला के करीब 30,000 हेक्टेयर में ALS कॉटन का उत्पादन होता है। इसमें हमारे 5 क्लस्टर हैं, बदनावर, बाजरा फर्स्ट, बाजरा सेकंड, रतलाम और सेलर। और यहाँ लंबे रेशे वाले की कपास काफी प्रचलित है और किसान इसे रुचि लेके लगाते हैं।
मेरा मोबाइल में नहीं हो रहा है,
परियोजना चल रही है, फायदा हुआ है। फायदे के हिसाब से अब कमी आई है और उत्पादन में बढ़ोतरी हुई है। साथ ही जो समस्या थी रस सूजन, उसमें भी थोड़ा जैविक कंट्रोल नियंत्रण पाया है, और आगे भी इसको कंटिन्यू रहेगा तो काफी परियोजना से किसानों को काफी फायदा हो।
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम है नागू सिंह चारेल, ग्राम पंतवारी, तहसील सेलाना, विकास खंड सेलाना। मैं किसान हूँ और ये कपास DCS 32 कपास बहुत अच्छा कपास, ये परियोजना चल रही है, बहुत अच्छी चल रही है, तो किसान सभी खुश है इस पे। इसका रेशा भी लंबा है और इसमें खर्च भी कम आता है और उत्पादन ज्यादा बढ़ता है। हम चाहते हैं सभी किसान कि इस परियोजना को अधिक से अधिक चालू करे, मेहनत लागू रखे, इससे किसान बहुत खुश है।
ओके। मैं स्काउट जगदीश चंद्र सेंचा, पेटलावा जिला, झाबुआ, मध्य प्रदेश। मैं पिछले 4 साल से सहभागी कपास विकास परियोजना से जुड़ा हुआ हूं, और इस परियोजना से किसानों के बीच में जाकर के लंबे रेशे वाली कपास का अधिक से अधिक उत्पादन कैसे हो और कम खर्च में इसका उत्पादन कैसे हो, इसकी शिक्षा उनको दी जाती है। और पहले ये टॉपिंग नहीं करते थे, जब परियोजना ने अपना प्रयास किया तो उन्होंने टॉपिंग करना शुरू कर दिया, जिससे उत्पादन बढ़ा और ड्रिप सिंचाई के माध्यम से भी कपास का लाभ लेने लगे। इसी प्रकार से कीटनाशक दवाई में भी जैविक कीटनाशक दवाई का भी प्रयोग करने लगे। सभी किसान चाहते हैं कि ये परियोजना आगे चलती रहनी चाहिए ताकि हमको नई नई जानकारी मिलती रहे।
मेरा नाम देवीलाल खराड़ी है। मैं रतलाम जिले के बाजना ब्लॉक में क्लस्टर फर्स्ट में काम करता हूँ स्काउट के रूप में। मेरे पास 112 गांव है, जिसमें एफएलटी कपास जो लगाया है उसमें एक 20 गांव में एफएलटी लगाया है। इसमें श्यामा शिव शक्ति और श्यामा हाईटेक और बीटी, इसमें हम किसानों को जाकर के सबसे पहले मिट्टी का परीक्षण करवाने के लिए जागरूकता करते हैं। उसके बाद में कपास में जो इसकी दूरी है उसको भी अधिक से अधिक संख्या बड़े पौधों की उसमें लोगों को जागरूक करते हैं। और उसमें कपास के आसपास में पहले डीएपी खाद और ये रखते तो ऊपर ही रखते देते हैं। अब क्या है कि कपास के आसपास में गहरा गड्ढा करवा करके गोल गड्ढा और खाद रखवाते हैं और उसको निंदाई गुड़े की जानकारी देते हैं। समय समय पर अच्छे बीज का चयन करवाते हैं और बाजार में उनको किसानों को ले जाने के लिए अच्छा बीज जो कौन सा कपास है उसका बीज का चयन भी करवाते हैं।
मैं सुनील व्यास, सेलाना क्लस्टर जो किसी वक्त मध्य प्रदेश का सबसे क्वालिटी कपास उत्पादन का क्षेत्र रहा है, पिछले 5 सालों से उस क्षेत्र में मैं काम कर रहा हूँ।
प्रोजेक्ट ऑफिसर CITI महाराष्ट्र से। महाराष्ट्र में हमारा ये प्रोजेक्ट 2015 से 2016 से शुरू है और महाराष्ट्र में कुल 5 जिलों में CITI का काम शुरू है। वो 5 जिलों के नाम इस तरह से है कि यवतमाल, अमरावती, चंद्रपुर, वर्धा और नागपुर। यहाँ कांतिलाल बोत्रा जी के फार्म पे आए हैं, तो उन्होंने भी हाई डेंसिटी प्लांटेशन का इस्तेमाल किया है और प्लांट की संख्या भी बढ़ी है और प्रोडक्शन भी बढ़ता उनका दिख रहा है। ये प्लांट है, ये 2 प्लांट के बीच में का डिस्टेंस है 30 सेंटीमीटर और रो का डिस्टेंस है 90 सेंटीमीटर। और ये मोनोपोडियल ब्रांच की क्वांटिटी है, 16 से 17 मोनोपोडियल ब्रांचेस है और 25 से 30 के बीच में सिम्पोडियल ब्रांचेस है। और बॉल्स की अगर बात करें तो बॉल्स यहाँ पे 30 से 35 बॉल्स हमको दिख रहे हैं।
फूटेगा पेशानी ये फांगड़ा फूट गया है नहीं, हम हाथों तोड़े तो तोड़े बेटा। तो ये देखो डिंडू और इन्हें देख लो।
Thank you. Thank you everyone for giving, having a look at CITI activities. So here I am. Good morning, everyone. I am Prashant Mohata, Managing Director, Gimatex. Ours is a textile integrated company right from ginning. We are doing fiber to fashion. We are also doing apparels. So ginning, spinning, weaving, processing, we are absolutely in the complete chain. So with this perspective, I am also going to have my stakeholders view on this topic. So firstly, I would like to thank ma'am, Rashi ma'am, for chairing this session along with all the other dignitaries on the dais. So friends, as madam has very rightly pointed out, lot has already been said about what is to be done in the cotton area. Unfortunately, it's the high time that we all have to start getting results about it. You all know the problems. We also know the problems, and on those areas, CITI has been working very strongly. Particularly if I would like to brief you, the areas are like soil testing, identifying the right seeds, timing the pesticide and insecticide sprays, guiding the farmers with the right kind of inputs, as well as then using pheromone traps and many other budding technologies, as well as guiding them for preventing pink bollworm and those kind of diseases, using high density plantation, using higher yield seed, which Mr. Rao had already spoken about, where he said that a GOT of 38 to 40%, and also using high quality seeds or producing high quality cotton seeds, particularly in Madhya Pradesh, where the initiatives have been taken to achieve 32 mm, 34 mm length staple. So these are the various activities which CITI CDRA has been doing, and for doing it for past 40 years, though the whole idea and the focus areas have changed. Last 10 to 12 years, our area has changed. Our focus has now come to increasing the yield and improving on the quality. But have we done enough? The answer is a blatant no. We all know that we all have to, it's our pain, it's industry's pain that we still, in spite of being such a big and major textile player in the world, we still don't end up in the top bracket of cotton producing in terms of productivity as well as quality. So what is to be done? Roop Rashi ma'am has already said, ministry expects that because this is a industrial use product, so government expects that industry should come forward. Unfortunately, we haven't done so. And the result is today, we remain to be the lowest bracket of yield producing country. Or if our country has to really succeed, then we as corporates have to come forward. Like PepsiCo has done for Lay's, where they actually made sure that they get the right quality of potato. Why can't industry come forward and actually look at the cotton which is being produced? And you all know that unless this year we saw that there was a dip in the cotton quantity, and the prices went haywire, and we were absolutely out of business for almost 3-4 months. So such is the problem, that if we don't pay attention, I think we are losing on a golden opportunity, and it's high time that we work on it. So golden opportunity for golden fiber, absolutely. And madam, is actually a golden fiber, as Suresh Kotak ji has very rightly said, and you also have mentioned in your briefly on your speech that there are multiple uses of this product. So from the stakeholders point of view, let me highlight, as a Jinner, we are already using the yield testing, the GOT thing, where we actually find out the lint to assess how much price is to be paid to the farmer. So every truck that comes in terms of farmer's truck, we actually first assess the yield through a micro gin, and then we actually give the prices. So we are doing that kind of initiative, and this is happening in our area. Second, we are integrated, so definitely we are adding value. More importantly, we are the only company who is also working on the seed. As Kotak ji has already mentioned, the seed also gives you oil. And today, India remains an oil deficit country, and our focus, we are very much oil dependent. Today, cotton seed has itself 17% oil producing capability. So we are into solvent extraction technology, extracting full 17% oil. And not like expeller, where we end up losing 8 to 10%. So that's another area where we are working. And I really urge all the industries to come forward and work on it, because we are losing on the very important component of oil, which is today priced at 120 rupees a kg. No doubt, lint remains to be even at 150 rupees or 170 rupees kg. But even oil, which is a very important component, if we are able to get full value of the seed, I think it will help the overall textile fraternity, because the whole burden of increasing cost will not fall only on the cotton lint, but will be spread across seed as well as the cotton. So I really urge everyone to work on that, and I really request ma'am also to look at it, where how the industry can be incentivized so as to have this solvent extraction technology and have full value coming from the cotton seed. So if ministry can do on that area, I think there is enough incentives available for textile. But this oil, because unfortunately even this cotton seed doesn't fall under the oil seeds. I don't know why, but it has been left out. It is there, but probably not the focus. It's not on the focus area. So that's what we have to make it, how we can make it a focus area, and we can work on. Exactly. So it makes sense. That's what I'm saying. And what Suresh ji also mentioned, the gossipol issue has been quite taken care. And I request all the seed fraternity also to look into it, how we can make sure, though University of Texas has come out with new seeds where gossipol is not going to be a problem in terms of the protein which forms after the de-oiling, which happens in the solvent extraction. We ourselves have a degossypolization plant where we are giving the high protein produced in our solvent extraction plant to aqua and as well as animal feed, the poultry feed, which otherwise never used to find an application. So friends, there are various, so cotton is a golden fiber. We have to make sure that we have the right quality available to us. The contamination issue, unfortunately, has been suppressing the prices. India remains to be low yield and low quality in the low quality segment. So a lot of good initiative has been taken place. RCF and other chemical factory producing factories have been instructed to use colored bags. where all the storage which happens will be in colored bags. So now whatever the transportation happens will be in colored bags. So automatically the technology which is available at spinning end, we will be able to at least sort that polypropylene and polyester or that part out of it. So those kind of good initiatives are happening, and I really applaud the understanding which our honorable minister, secretary, as well as the textile commissioner and the over bureaucracy has really risen to the fact that change is required in our mindset and a lot of initiatives need to be taken, and all that is happening. So we are very fortunate to have a very positive environment, just that it's time for us to give the results also. I really fail to understand even like small things, like for example, drip irrigation. You know that drip irrigation results into 3 times the yield, but still we remain to be almost 20% only irrigated. 80% remains to be out of drip irrigation. Why such simple things we have not been able to achieve? Is there really question mark on our capabilities, our intention? We really have to look into it. Why we have not been able to create an ecosystem where these things should have been in place, at least in time where we are supposed to be competitive at a world level. Also important is about the sustainability and circularity part. There also, I think CITI CDRA as well as industry fraternity has to come forward and create a overall communication agenda and communication where we are able to convince our buyers, international buyers, about our cotton being sustainable as well as really efficient in terms of its produce, less water consuming. Also, the social impact of the cotton farmers, all that message has to be really worked upon. From CITI CDRA, we are taking all these initiatives, how we can create a right communique, and it can be spread to all the industry fraternity. And in times to come, we are very hopeful that our initiatives will lead to positive result. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prashant. I think it's apt that we close the session with another organized voice of the cotton farmers. So I call upon Mr. Manish Daga, the president of All India Cotton Farmer Producers Organization, to give a presentation on the White Revolution 2.0.
PPT. Before I start my short presentation, I would like to thank CITI. I would like to thank CITI CDRA and the speakers on the dais, and especially the Textile Commissioner of India for enlightening us with their views. And the views are not actually for today, they are forever. And if we are able to implement even 50% of what is being said right now on stage, I think nothing can stop India from here on. And this is the basis of my presentation today. Please retain slide number 1. Yeah. So where we stand today and where we look to see ourselves tomorrow is what I stand here for. Six Sigma is the basis of my presentation. What is the actual problem and what is the achievable, actionable, sustainable solution that we are looking at? And then we start to ask the questions: who, what, how, when. If we don't answer this question right now, today, I think all this will only remain talk on stage and good to listen to, but we will not be able to achieve the results, because India is on a verge of a phenomenal growth, especially in textiles. There is a big space available for us, and if you are not able to capitalize right now, I think this opportunity may not come for a long time. So then title of the presentation, White Revolution 2.0, Developing Sustainable Cotton Value Chain for the World Markets. Let us not look into only ourselves, but the world. I would like to start with a short Sanskrit shloka. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashit dukh bhag bhavet. As a representative of the farmers, I like to, reinstate the importance of this shloka is, if we desire happiness for ourselves, we need to ensure the happiness of others. If we desire prosperity for ourselves, we need to ensure the prosperity of others. And that is how we start this presentation. The first slide is the challenge. Please change the slide. Please look at the blocks first and the blocks last. The block first is year 2009, when India was already into 6 years of BT seed. The yields were growing phenomenally till then. And then something happened in 2009. The crop was 305 lakh bales in that year. And the year 2021-22, this is the current year. The crop is 307 lakh bales. Have we lost a decade? In spite and despite of all the technologies that we have, increase in land, increase in MSP of seed cotton, growth of the textile industry, the industry has grown nearly 100% in the last 14 years. But the crop remains the same or even lower. And the second thing I want to point out in this graph is look at the fall. After 2014, every third year we have seen a 10% fall in production. Is this the trend we are getting used to and we want to remain used to? Or is it something that we do right now that can reverse the trend and assure a surplus production for India for the next few decades so that the industry can plan its growth and the government can plan its policies? This is the question we need to ask ourselves. Slide 3 will show the impact. I'm only enlightening the impact which I have read in newspapers, on government portals. Next slide, please. In 4-5 points, highest ever cotton prices, May 2022, killing domestic and export markets, unprecedented price volatility. The price grew by 65% between October and May, and the rise was about 68% in the previous year. So back-to-back growth of 130% in prices. Source CITI spot prices, partial or complete closure of many units. May 2022 to September 2022 has seen a phenomenal reversal in the growth of the industry. Fall in exports, rise in imports. Exports fell by 20% and imports rose by 273% in cotton and waste in the 6 months of financial year 2022. What next? Again, the same question. How can we be assured of a surplus cotton crop and reasonable prices and low cotton volatility so that we can plan our growth? So what has happened 50 years back can be a model case for us. 50 years back, 1970, Amul created the first white revolution. The Operation Flood, the dream of Mr. Varghese, white revolution period intended to make India a self-dependent nation in milk production, and it did. 5 decades from now, we are seeing the dominance of India in milk, but the foundation was the first white revolution which happened. Can we have that white revolution in cotton? Is it possible? This is what I wish to invite all of you. Operation White Gold, the White Revolution 2.0. Next slide, please. Aim to make India a self-dependent nation in production of cotton and #1 in export of value-added textiles. This is very important. Exporting cotton is not an achievement, but exporting value-added goods is definitely. Amul is a classic example of realizing a tower of a vision on the foundation of strong building blocks like effective rural management, cooperative management, and professional approach. Let us see what the key building blocks can be if we want to make White Revolution 2.0, Operation White Gold, a success. Next slide, please. The first building block is create a national body of cotton growing farmers and their FPOs. Now, this word FPO, Farmer Producer Organization, people are hearing since the last 6 months since I have been representing the farmers on this stage. It's not a new phenomena at all. The phenomena is 2 decades old. The concept was created by the government 2 decades back, but it has picked up momentum in 2017 onwards when the current government declared incentives for farmer producer organizations. Farmer producer organizations are companies like your normal companies. They are listed under the Companies Act. They are registered, they are organized, they are semi-corporates, they are professional companies of farmers where only farmers can be members. So these are the FPOs, organized farmers and their farmer producer organizations under All India Cotton Farmer Producer Organization Association. This is what we started 3 years back in 2020, just after lockdown, when we understood that the farmers were facing an issue and industries were facing a very, very bigger issue of sustainability. So it is an apex body of farmer producer organization across the cotton growing states of India. Already 102 other farmer producer organization comprising of nearly 1 lakh farmers are members right now in this organization. This is guided by a team of experts in advisory and technical, many of whom are speakers today, like Suresh by Kotak, Dr. Mai was there, Dr. Prasad we have already invited, CIRCOT director is in the technical committee, and Dr. Keshav Kranti, he is also part of the advisory committee. Such people are, and Dr. G. Chandrasekhar, who was going to lead a panel today, is also part of the advisory committee. So guided by expert, this is how we started. We spoke to them, we took their guidance, what is need to be done, which model to follow, and we shortlisted the AMUL model, and this is how we have started. You can see the structure. There are farmers, there are self-help groups, there are women groups below. Above that, there is a farmer producer organization. Above that, there is a federation, and above that, there is an association. This is how the structure has evolved in the last few years. Next slide, please. Block number 2 is a market-faced company. Now we know the model of operation, that is the AMUL model, but how to do it in agriculture produce? Cotton is not milk. It has a very long supply chain, and we studied the Azim Premji University model. It is a fantastic model of how farmer producers companies can work and grow. And they have strongly suggested a market-faced company. One FPO should be made such that it is the federation, and it knows the market, it deals with the market, it aggregates, it trains, it processes, and it trades also. All farmer producer companies cannot be expected to do that. So we need to have a federation, a group of FPOs who are specifically trained for that purpose, and that was the model, and that is what we built that on. Please return the last slide. And make code of conduct, have dispute mechanisms in place, have SOPs to increase the yield and productivity. And I will just share an example in the coming slides, how this productivity model has evolved. The third building block is, first we created a state body, then a national body. Can we have integration of that national body into a supply chain? That is the third building block. Spread the knowledge to other states, train and make leaders out of other state farmer producer organizations so that they can be part of the mainstream to make Operation White Gold a success and India a ever surplus cotton growing country. Building block number 4 is the most critical part. Please return the last slide. Is participation of the industry. No, the last, still you go back. Building block number 4. Yes. Industry is so important. This supply chain will not be complete without the industry, madam. The industry has to participate in it. It has to participate for its own benefit. We do not want grants. The farmers are not asking grants. Don't give us any money. Give us contracts. Enter into a farming contract, like Shri Prabhakaranji said, contract farming before the sowing season, that is possible. We will grow cotton of your choice. We will use seeds of your choice. We will give you quality of your choice. But there has to be a contract for that. After we grow, you cannot sell that you should have done this. So contract farming is one option. Second option is a marketing contract itself just before the harvesting season. If that can be done, this participation will lead to a win-win situation for the producer community, for the trading community, for the manufacturing community, as well as for the government. Because in all these cases, we have never asked for a single rupee from anybody. And we are still not asking that. For the government, it must ensure a level playing field so that such contracts happen and such contracts are honored on both the sides. So if you can give that platform, you can have such meetings, if you can have such commitments in presence of government as a facilitator only. Yes, and I would be happy to share that we have currently signed a contract with a European company, and they have brought an American buyer. So the contract has been already signed. It's a trial contract of 500 metric tons, and next year it's going to be 5,000 metric tons. So the already underway, and we invite the domestic industry to also get into such kind of. Yes. So the next is Operation White Gold target outcome. What Amul achieved and what cotton can achieve is create a national cotton grid linking producers throughout India with the consumers. Don't we need to have that? Second is reduce the seasonal and regional price variations. Prices are different in Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, South India, Central India. And also seasonally, the prices are different. Can we have some uniformity on that or some control over the volatility? Ensure that the producer gets a fair deal of the share that the price buyers pay by cutting out superfluous middlemen. Cotton is not reaching out to ginning factories directly from the farmers. Only 13% of the farmers are selling directly to ginners. And any given day, only 33% of farmers are selling to CCI in even worse MSP years. CCI has never procured more than 125 lakh bags out of Indian total production of 350 lakh bags. So we need more interaction. We need more participation. The last is the bedrock of program is village cotton farmer producer organizations which produce cotton and provide inputs and services. We will do whatever the industry asks us to do with the help of our advisory and technical committee. We will give the desired outputs. We have taken the first step. We invite you to join us in this mission. And what we need to make in the stage 3, the first stage is state-wise, the second stage is nation-wise, third stage is build a sustainable supply chain. We have seen last year's supply chains have been very fragile. Even at 1 lakh rupees a candy mill, they did not receive delivery. Even at 14,000 rupees to a quintal, ginners did not receive delivery of the kapas. And even when the price fell in the last month from 9,600 rupees to 8,800 rupees, some of the factories did not take deliveries from the farmers. So the supply chains are not very robust right now. They need to be made such that, and what can that do? Give is definitely better yield and production, better quality, more transparency and a robust marketing system. More interaction between the farmer organized groups and the consumers is going to give that. This will increase the profitability, credibility, dependability, competitiveness of the industry, help us achieve the target of 100 billion USD exports in the next 5 years. Next point, please. This is the 5-point mantra. We have made a panel of India's best cotton yield-taking farmers. They have been awarded recently by the Cotton Association of India. They are across 5 states of India. And we have discussed the best practices that they use to attain high yields, with scientists from Indian Society of Cotton Improvement, CICR and ICAC in Washington. And we have shortlisted these 5 common set of services that these farmers follow. If we publish this and if we promote this, I'm sure the yield component is going to be very different in the next 3 years, because these are the best practices and these are the low-hanging fruits. These farmers are already achieving a yield of 800 to 1,000 quintals per kg per hectare right now with their traditional practices. High-density plantation, yes, we need to do, but that is going to take some time. But this low-hanging fruit, this current available resources we can use right now. The 5 points are soil. Anything in BT from 2003 onwards, we need to work on the soil because the period is very less. We previously used to take 7 to 8 pickings. Now we take 2 to 3 pickings in BT. In high density, it's going to be 1 picking only. The soil needs to be enriched and enriched with input from the farm itself. The more livestock we have, the more plant shredder machines that we use. These plant shredder machines we are using now. CCI, I thank Cotton Corporation of India for providing us the shredder machine. In our projects, we will shred the dry cotton plants. We will make vermicompost and biocompost out of them, and we will enrich the soil. These processes are continuously going on in many of our projects. So soil is very important, but enriching by regenerative inputs is also important. Second is sowing. Normally, the sowing in India is done from east to west, but all these best yield-taking farmers are sowing from north to south, because they have studied the science of sunlight. Sunlight falling on plant throughout the day in summer or winter or monsoon, the plants need to have that adequate amount of sunlight to make nutrition, and north to south sowing provides that. We have the whole nutrition cycle in place, and we can explain to anybody who wishes to understand in person why this is so important. And even across the world, the countries which are taking highest yield, the sowing is north to south, whereas in India, it is east to west. Right. Third is irrigation and fertigation. Prabhakar ji mentioned, even Prashant ji mentioned, why not irrigation? Can we have a micro finance system? Can we have a CSR based system in irrigation? Why irrigation is not happening is very obvious. The farmer has to pay first and then he gets the reimbursement. That is not happening right now. Even after 60 to 70% subsidy being offered, that is not happening. Can we have some microfinance option for the farmers? And can we have some CSR activity here? Then that can immediately impact the yield. Second is fertigation, application of fertilizers through irrigation. That saves 30% of cost immediately. So cost cutting is also important. Yield announcement also important. Fourth is detopping, the canopy management that Suresh bhai was talking about. Detopping of plants increases the yield by nearly 20 to 25%. The machine cost is very dismal. It is only 600, 700 rupees to a machine. We have distributed many machines to our farmers. The industry can take that initiative and start to distribute and educate the farmers about this. And this innovation has been made by the farmer itself. One of our farmers had made the innovation of the detopping machine, and we are selling at only 600 rupees to our project farmers. Use of technology. Now, we have made a Cotton Guru Maha FPO mobile app. After studying so many apps, we understood that the farmer cannot apply 6 to 7 apps for price one, for inputs one, for productivity one, for disease one. That is not possible. So we have a common app. As a trial, we just put that app in the lockdown period. Today, 17,000 farmers have downloaded the app. It is providing first-hand information on farm mapping. We map the farm of the farmer. He's able to see his farm on his own mobile. Then we have input management on the app. Then we have price we give daily 6 days. Next 6 days, weather report is given on that app, and prices of 3 neighboring mandis are also given sometimes on their app. So these technology interventions can go a long way in increasing the yield. These are the 5 points that I wish to share to all of you. Coming to conclusion now. White Revolution 2.0 is the need of the hour to make India a self-reliant, self-dependent nation in production of cotton and numero uno, in the word Suresh bhai used, in export of value-added textiles. FPOs have evolved as a new generation, producer-led organization to help smallholder farmers receive benefits of aggregation and economics of scale and provide ease of procurement for the buyer. So it's a win-win situation. Both the sides need one role model like Amul. My FPO can become the role model with your support and your blessings. Encourage level playing field in contract farming and in purchase contracts to make Operation White Gold a success. Prashant ji just shared an example of PepsiCo, how they have done for potato. Can anybody do it for cotton right here, right now? Thank you. Kisan hasega, to desh basega. The last slide is the structure of the organization, the All India Cotton FPO, for whom I stand here for. And I thank all of you for a patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Manish, for a very strong pitch for the critical role of FPOs and what Cotton Guru is doing in this field for strengthening the cotton value chain. We had a marathon session of more than 1.5 hours. But if there are some question and answers, can we give 5 more minutes for that in case there are? Yes, please. The mic, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shailesh Kaushik. I'm a textile technologist with 34 years of standing. I 100% agree whatever deliberations have been. My only 2 cents are that we are not doing enough branding of what we are doing. I've been to IKEA Singapore, and there was not a single meter of Indian cotton fabric there in any segment, be it home textiles or any other. They were doing about the fair cotton and all those things. But with these international buyers buying houses and on other forums, as a country, we should do branding of all efforts, all activities we are doing. I'm not belittling what we are doing. What I'm talking about, the branding or marketing part of it as a nation. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very pertaining question. And I think in my talk also, I spoke particularly about this from CITI CDRA side also. We are trying to improve our communique, particularly in regard to the branding and how we are a sustainable and having right practices in cotton. But you are very right in your observation that we really need to work harder on it, because after EU has passed that kind of regulation where by 2030, they are going to use only sustainable and circular kind of technology for fashion. So I think we need to improve on that.
Ask Patwari ji to elaborate on this effort which we are looking at branding with for quality Indian cotton as Kasturi, including element of traceability. Mr. Patwari, please.
As I was mentioning, the Kasturi brand has already been decided, and there is a very active action already. There is a committee headed by Mr. Mandavewala on promoting this brand, and on the lines of Giza and Pima, we want to propose the superiority of Indian cotton, and very actively work is going on this. There's short-term, medium-term plans to promote the brand, to highlight the benefits, and funding is also being organized, and seriously work is going on.
I agree with you what you say, because there was a deliberation on ESG and sustainability on the whole of textiles sometime back. And one of the prominent sources said that we are not either measuring what we are doing, we are not even messaging what we are doing. So messaging, I also feel that we need to message much better. We are not even measuring. According to his rough and assessment, most of our people might be doing enough to be at least 1/3 of the industry, he said, should be scope 3 compliant. Now that shows what kind of gap we have in terms of not bringing our act together in terms of documents, messaging to the ones who are procuring from us. So I'm sure a lot of work is being done. We should just sit together and bring it to the market.
I agree with ma'am. There is a need to improve our projection. We are a country of jugaad. So we inherently we reuse, recycle, but we are not presenting it right. If we do that, I think our image will also improve.
Hello to all. My name is Vipul Rajguru and I'm from Grasim Industries. Means it's really encouraging that now we are concentrating on increasing cotton yield in our country. But then if I recall, I think I attended, in last 10 years, and there was always a topic of improving cotton yield in India. And last 10 years, I attended many cotton conferences. And always one topic was common, how to improve the yield. But then today's presentation, only Mr. Manish Daga just said that in over a decade, our yield was almost stagnant at 500 kg problem. So what I just suggest that suppose we want to really do that, form a joint task force. This is just a suggestion, and have a better representation of the farmers in it, progressive farmers probably. Then HT, that high density planting system and other ideas can probably give a good result. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for the suggestion. This is what I think we wanted to tell you, that the whole mechanism which started from the top, that is between our minister, sir, and the Minister of Agriculture, is to bring the act together between two ministries and involving the one who is the most important, that is the farmer, because he needs to be the benefited, as the last sentence there, that he's the foundation. So I'm sure we will reach there. First of all, we need to synergize our act. From our side, we are one on this. And anybody else, I'm sure our Prasad sir is doing a lot of work from the government side on agriculture and synergizing what government is doing for textiles.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Sunil Chavla. I represent DFU Publications. First and foremost, I must appreciate that, the current dispensation, they're very strong and a firm belief in unification. like one nation, one ration card, one nation, one fertilizer, So my point is that how much on the ground it is making difference, ma'am. Thank you.
That I have to ask you. I do believe that we need to, once the initiatives have been taken, decisions have been taken. I was actually discussing with Mr. Prabhakar Rao also that unfortunately I realized the decision on one nation, one fertilizer, though taken on 24th or 26th of August, some people missed out on the annexure, which actually gave the color code. So there was lack of understanding that it actually means a qualitative change in the way government is looking. And it factors, and Sumoto takes care of the issue of cotton. See, fertilizer bags are not only for cotton, they are for all other crops also. So this kind of a thing that we need to reach out to people, that this kind of decisions have been taken are, I would look to all of us present here to do that kind of messaging. That order is very, very clear. And I hope, of course, it will take 1 year in terms of actually seeing the result. But if we see that anybody who's not complete, it's a very clear order. I would request Chandrama to share with all the participants also. It says that why we should not, what we should be using henceforth. So I do expect that that compliance would give a better results for cotton. There was in the last meeting with Minister said somebody raised, if I remember, on sugar also, but let us see. That's another ministry is handling, so he'll find some solution for us on that.
Can I take a follow-up questions to this? Yeah, a follow-up question to the same sticking to the same idea. What was the underlying objective? Was it an initiative in the direction of now that word is talking about the climate change, or was there any other rationale in terms of pricing or anything else? Thank you.
Sorry, I wouldn't be able to give. From our side, this was one demand we raised through TAG. And I feel that for whatever reason this has come about, it will take care of our cotton value chains, one of the major concerns, if not totally, substantially. So I wouldn't like to, I really don't know what were the decisions, because it is an interministerial decision across the board. A lot of other people are involved. So I honestly say that I'm not aware to answer your question on that. Yeah.
Or anyone else on the panel wishes to answer?
Sustainable or circular, be it in any kind of fiber, it won't be there in the market, at least with the major brands.
Agree to that. That I think everybody agrees. He wanted to know what was the motivation. I don't want to get into that because frankly speaking, I cannot speak for government on that. It's a multilateral kind of issues and decision. As long as it helps my textile value chain, our textile value chain, we are happy about it.
Ma'am, I'm Balkrish Sharma from Guinea Filaments. I'm also in textile industry for the last 3 decades. Ma'am, I would like to throw your attention to one important aspect which is happening now. The inspiration of that has been taken from Manish Daga's last line, Kisan hasega to desh hasega. Kisan hasega to desh hasega. Beautiful lines. हमने सारी बातें की, लेकिन एक बात जो मिसिंग है वो है अभी कॉटन की और यान की डिमांड के बारे में. For example, we all know 50 million spindle में से I think 60% spindles इंडिया के चल रहे हैं. It is very important किसान तब हंसेगा जब उसके प्रोड्यूस की डिमांड होगी. और अभी प्रॉब्लम ये है कि यान की डिमांड बिकॉज ऑफ ऑल द जियोपॉलिटिकल फैक्टर्स वो प्रॉब्लम में है. लेकिन what I want to point out is, ma'am, I was in Kolkata, I was in Ahmedabad, I was in Mumbai in last 10 days. वहाँ पे जहाँ भी हम जाते हैं वहाँ पे वियतनामीज एंड चाइनीज यार्न्स आर कमिंग मेड ऑफ जिंजियांग कॉटन, जो कि बाहर तो वो एक्सपोर्ट कर नहीं सकते, लेकिन इंडिया के अंदर इंडिया की डोमेस्टिक मार्केट जिसके ऊपर आज का स्पिनर मोस्टली डिपेंडेंट है, बिकॉज बांग्लादेश इज नॉट वर्किंग, यूएस इज नॉट वर्किंग, यूरोपियन यूनियन इज नॉट वर्किंग, तो वो हमारी इंडस्ट्री को पेनिट्रेट कर रहे हैं. तो विच इन टर्न इज अफेक्टिंग नॉट ओनली स्पिनिंग इंडस्ट्री बट ऑल्सो इज इम्पैक्टिंग आवर डियर फार्मर्स. तो ये चीज है मैम जो मैं आपको पॉइंट आउट करना चाहता हूँ. लाइक 30s carded, 32s carded, 40s carded and very good quality yarn is coming for Indian domestic market, जो कि जिसका की एडवांटेज हम स्पिनर्स को लेना चाहिए, इंडियन स्पिनर्स को लेना चाहिए, इंडियन फार्मर्स को लेना चाहिए, लेकिन वो सारा एडवांटेज चाइनीज एंड वियतनामीज लेके जा रहे हैं. So this is maybe we have MDs of NSL, MDs of Gimatex. They will, I think they will agree to my viewpoint. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. We are really running short of time. Okay, we'll take one more question. There are around 50 participants also who have joined us virtually. We'll also just see if there are one or two there. So we'll just take one more
Chatrima ji,
question.
can I just answer him in one line?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, unless Balkrishna ji, unless I've been seeing your posts on the social media also. जब तक हम अपने आप को कॉटन सरप्लस कंट्री नहीं कर लेते हैं और कॉटन प्राइसेस कॉम्पिटिटिव, मतलब फार्मर को भी एक फेयर डील मिले और इंडस्ट्री को भी फेयर डील मिले, तभी होगा जब ये सरप्लस प्रोडक्शन होगा. तो जब तक वो नहीं कर लेते तब तक ये चैलेंजेस आएंगे. मतलब हमने एफटीए भी साइन किया, तो क्या हम एक्सपोर्ट करने के लिए कर रहे हैं? क्या आज तो कोई इंडस्ट्री सोच रही है कि चलो अगर एफटीए हो गया तो हम कुछ इंपोर्ट कर लेंगे, because the situation is such. But if we are in the right frame of mind के अगर प्रोडक्शन बढ़ता है तो काफी चीजों का सॉल्यूशन होता है. So I think long-term solution.
I have a question to the panel, which is managing the this Kasturi branding. This Kasturi is nothing but the gland of a male musk deer, and to obtain Kasturi, he has to be killed, and that gland is to be removed, caudal gland. So if we are using this name for international clientele, and if they do a small Google, they will associate with the atrocities against animals, and it may not be the most appropriate brand name. It is certainly associated with fragrance, but that fragrance is obtained by killing a male musk deer. So I think we should reconsider the name that we are going to use for branding Indian cotton.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Vipin Dagaokar, Associate Vice President for R&D. I'm from seed sector doing R&D for last 33 years. Many things on improvement have been talked about. I think 2 points I wish to make out here. One is on the fiber quality requirements for the upcoming decade. Through breeding, bringing these changes at the shortest possible time is not possible. We need some time to improve the quality. So as a industry, we should know what are going to be the long-term requirements in terms of the fiber quality in cotton, because we know there is a big challenge from man-made fibers also to cotton, which was probably not talked today much. To improve that, it takes some time, although we use genomics approaches and processes can be fastened up, but this should be a kind of a mandate for the breeders that what we look for by 2030 or 2035. That is first point. The second point I wish to make here is about the procurement. We have been talking of cotton production and productivity. In India, the entire cotton production is purchased as a seed cotton, whereas the farmer is not getting benefit in terms of the hygiening. So like in other countries, if the pricing is based on the yield per hectare, I think the farmer will be more benefited. More he has to invest, he will give more productivity. That is simple logic I would like to put here.
Thank you. Only the last question, Mr. Bhagirath Chaudhary, who has joined us virtually. The last question for you.
Good afternoon, madam. I'm joining from Jodhpur in Rajasthan, and I work with large number of cotton farmers across India through a small not-for-profit organization called South Asia Biotechnology Center. Madam, if you look at historically, the increase in cotton yield since 1950 that we have seen was driven by technological intervention. If you look at improved varieties in 1960s, we had hybridization in 70s. Late 80s, it was the application of pyrethroids. In 2000, we've seen approval then by the NDA-1 of the BT cotton technology. So all the surge that we've seen historically in cotton was because of the application of technology driven through seed technologies. So I would like to understand from Textile Ministry and from the veteran of Textile Association people, what efforts in last 20 years that has been done by the downstream industry to really work with upstream industry to get new technology so that we can break the yield barrier that we've seen. We've seen a huge upsurge since 2002. Then we have seen saturation, and now I've seen deceleration in yield, which is concern to all of you. I think there need to be real thinking about what technological options that we have now to get the next level of yield increases in cotton production. And here, involvement from textile industry, requirement from the industry to the Ministry of Agriculture would be paramount to get the next generation technology in the hand of cotton farmer. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary. And I think we had a really long session. So we would have to close the session now. Before closing, I would like to once again thank our esteemed panelist, Madam Roop Rashi, who we all know has a very hectic schedule. In fact, she had to be somewhere else today. Somehow could make it to our session. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Sunil Patwari, the chairman of Cotton Textile Export Promotion Council. Mr. Suresh Kotak, sir, thank you very much for having been there virtually. Mr. Prabhakar Rao, Mr. Prashant Mahata and Mr. Manish Daga. I request the panelists to collect a token of appreciation as they go down. The team can hand it over to them. I'm sorry, we are running late by 45 minutes. So what I request everyone is to please bring back your cup of tea and sit down here, as we'll have to now continue with our next session. So with that, I thank all the panelists again. Thank you. Yeah, sure.